Do this, which one? Is that one first? Or?
Sure.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Go into it?
Yeah. Okay. We have our smoking ceremony going on here this morning at the new establishment. Cheers.
Okay.
This is our smoking ceremony that we're getting done here this morning. We've got a Yorta elder, Uncle Lance.
Someone borrowed it off me. And to bring it back yesterday, I didn't bring it back, so.
This is to empty out. Oh, you right?
It's all right, yeah, I'm right.
Empty out any bad spirits. You can drop anything around here because it's in renovation stage.
So this was a butcher shop, was it?
Yeah, out the back.
You haven't got smoke detectors, have you?
Nah. Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
I didn't either.
I was going to ask when we walked in the back door.
Yeah, because they
Morning everyone.
I know, you've got your ball lakers.
For anyone that's just joined, we're just doing a smoking ceremony here to get the permission from the elders to start up our business here.
So we can go outside and do this.
Yeah.
Go around.
Sure thing.
Nice week, actually.
Uncle Lance is from the Yorta people. So important to have this done before we start the operation of the business. He's now going to tell us a little bit about the land and country, so I won't talk. You can all just listen if you want.
Yeah, this one that's smoke.
We've been told to inhale some of the smoke. Yeah, go for it. Everyone do it. Mother.
Not enough tape.
Need lots of cleansing, Deb. I know.
Thank you, Uncle.
Nisha. It's a smoking ceremony. And yes, that's the new shop. And what we're doing is Uncle Lance told us to inhale the smoke. So do a cleansing of the premises and then a cleansing of ourselves.
So I'm just going to give a little talk to you. You okay here, Alan?
Yeah.
The smoking is actually, it cleanses all the spirits, you know? The bad energy and brings in new energy. So shops, as well as having a smoke and taking in the cleanses all those bad spirits. You know? It's something that we use for a long time. Many years. Do you know about the Yorta people? Or?
Very little.
Very little, okay. I might start there, then I'll talk about a little bit about Fiji and a little bit about truth telling. We, the Yorta people have been here since time began. Our home place is Numurkah Mission and Numurkah Mission. If you use the word village, it sounds really nice. Well, it is nice, huh? But it's a mission. We were there for my parents, my grandparents, and their grandparents, and their grandparents, and their grandparents. We've been fortunate that all our food sources were there. On the Murray River, the Goulburn River, as well as the Barmer Lakes. We've never had to move. Unlike our cousins and brothers that are up north, they're nomadic. They had to go hundreds of miles and walk until they found water, until they found food sources. We're blessed because we didn't have to go anywhere. The Murray River gave us everything. Fish, crayfish, ducks, eggs. We had everything there for us, so we've been blessed and fortunate with that. Before I go any further, the Yorta Nations is the peak body. Then we have 16 family groups. We're all descendants from Malaga and Numurkah. Underneath that is 8 tribes or 8 clans. You know? So when people say to this and that, but the traditional owners are the Yorta people. Our boundary starts up at Seymour, and this is recognised by the government. Our boundary starts up at Seymour. Goes all the way along to Wodonga. This side of the river we go all the way up to Yarrawonga, Targamore, we go all the way up to Swan Hill. This side of Swan Hill. On the other side of that, Swan Hill itself is Muddy people. We have connections to Muddy. We come back and go to a church and go a little bit up to the Numurkah on this side, on the New South Wales side, and that's the boundary for Muddy. We come back, we go down to, come back to Echuca, and we go to Kyabram, Shepparton, Numurkah, and then go back to Seymour. So that's our traditional land owned by the Yorta people. Each one of those 16 family groups we're all the same people. We all come off Malaga, we all come off Numurkah. So when people say, oh, it might be, Wamba or Kalithaban or Ulithika, and a name I'm sure you've heard many times is Bangarang, you know?
Yeah.
But they're still our people. And they're part of the 16 family groups that make up the elders. So every month the elders get together, we have a meeting. Do we get 16 now? We get about 7 or 8. And people from Echuca and people from down Seymour just can't make it. But there are people in Shep that could make it and be part of it. One day they'll come back and sit at the table of the elders to be the decision makers. So we have a team called Wakawala, a team of probably about 20 people. Wakawala means land and water. And it's about, they care for country. You'll see signages around. You know, Yorta. Our totem is a long-necked turtle. and all the way from all around the district, you'll see a sign, you're the nations, or you're on the country. I haven't been able to way some of them pull them out. I don't believe it, you know. But anyway, they're still our people, and we don't hold any grudges. They probably hold grudges against us, you know. But when we set all this up in the early 80s, about the 16 family groups, the 8 clans, they were all part of that. They were there, you know. And sadly, in 1990 we lost the native title clan. And that distinguished us as people. It washed away our culture and our ties. The ties washed away our culture. We didn't have some really good understanding people. Our language, I can say, is coming back. We have 4 or 5 ladies who teach the language. We're teaching our children. My grandson's learning to speak the language. They live out in Benalla. And the ones in Cumra and Barma are learning the language, and shepherding too, which is a Yuri language. Our teachers can talk very fluent about the Yuri language. So everything we do, it gets copied by someone else, you know? That's who we are. And
they're trying to get the Aboriginal language taught now, aren't they, in all the primary schools?
yeah, one of the sad things about the education is we had Koori educators all around the state. They're now disappeared. We're going to take that up, and that will be part of. I'm on a truth-telling commission. My first day next door this week there. We want to take that up. We want to re-employ the educators because they're.
Yeah,
It's so important because our educators mean everything, you know. They're good for our kids, that they can go to somebody, you know, because it's in a... when we had the educators on board, they were fantastic, you know. They were good for our kids, they were good for the community, and whenever we had meetings, they would give feedback as to how our kids are going. But I must say this, sadly's passed, and I don't like talking about those who are deceased, but when our founder was hit with us and then he passed away, if he was here today, we'd have all the educators back. He was very strong on AI, which is a Victorian Aboriginal education body. He would have all those educators back, you know? But we're going to get them back, and part of that will be truth-telling. Part of that will be part of the treaty. About the treaty, I don't know if it's going to turn out in, you know, and what do people want, you know, from the treaty. You know? Some elders said to me, oh look, and I asked all the elders over around Shepparton and Rutland, they want reparation, land and water. Reparation's a nice word. If you go back to when Gary Follen and all them pay the rent, that's what it is. And he's not as vocal as what he was, you know. But it's paid the rent for the last 200 years. And that's what it's about, you know. So that's what the elders want. I want something, we want to have something tabled and passed and everything. Andrew said, go out and get a treaty. Come back to me. Well, it's been 3 years. So I want to see something for our elders. You know, we're losing our elders. Only one died on Friday. You know? But I'd like to see something for them before they pass over. And certainly something for our kids and the next generation. That generation that goes on. We want to see something for them. That's really, really important for us. That's some of the things. Truth-telling. I've only just been appointed to the truth-telling board, if you can say board.
Yeah.
I go down on Wednesday. I don't know what that is. You know, I said, they're telling the truth, or we're telling the truth. Huh?
Everyone.
Yeah.
You know, even down the road here, and up to Shepparton. all around, we've got burial sites everywhere. We have them recorded. We have everything. We know what happened. So we thank our elders and our ancestors to document all that all the way through. So, as I said, we have things that all treaty, our mob, we've got assembly, commissioners, big dollars, big bucks, but no one knows what they're doing. Well, no one knows, I'll say, oh, you have it. So what do you think? What do you think? Nobody really says the truth to say, look, this is, we missed out on the Royal Commission, our land claim, the Royal Commission into destined custodies, which has been, I went around the state with Sir Ronald Wilson, and we got all the stories from the elders, and their stories were so sad. Everyone was crying to hear their stories. And that was 32 years ago. There's something like 58 recommendations. Not one of them has been implemented. Not one.
God.
And then, of course, we have now something coming forward for the stolen generations. Those have been raised out of family, put in homes, removed and put in homes, in institutions. So there's something coming, I'm sure you've seen it on the news. They're going to get some monies. And then people run around, look, we'll manage this and well, it's their money, it's not yours, They want to go and blow it, and they probably will, some, that I know. Well, good luck for them.
That's right.
They were put into places like Burger Boys Home, Barat Catholic School, convents, and they've never recovered from that. They're around some of my age, a bit older, they haven't recovered. It's been, and their life has never been, you could say, functional because of what they went through. So hopefully it's affected every family that I know. Some in my family that are going to get compensation, and I'm just so happy for them. One nephew got it, who's going to get it, and I know he's going to blow it. I just know, But that's his money. He can do what he likes. If he wants to, give it away to charity or whatever he wants to do, that's up to him. But I know the pain and suffering he went through, and there's many others. My qualifications at where I am now as a cultural officer, but also I'm the Grief and Trauma Counsellor for the last 35 years.
Gosh.
I worked at Victorian Aboriginal Health Service for 25 years, which is, a big organisation. The Yorta people are the people that started everything. They had the intuition, they had the knowledge, teach them how to read and write. Because most missions you weren't allowed to read and write. But through my grandfather, he taught them how to read and write. People like Sir Douglas Nicholls, William Cooper. William Cooper was the only one that protested against what was happening to the Jewish people. And he marched from Footscray to the city, handed the papers over, we'll take care of them. His grandson went and got those papers last year. They never moved out or they weren't sent on. But the Jewish people took Uncle Boy and his family over there and named a street after, and trees, everything after William Cooper for what he'd done. Remember that he was the only one in the world that spoke out about what was happening to the Jewish people. So that's some of the, the many achievements. Sir Douglas Nicholls, the only black governor in Australia, appointed by in South Australia. And the racism and that he went through. When he played with Carlton, they wouldn't let him down. He went to Fitzroy and played there and played with Northcote. He represented Victoria, he got the big league, So he's a pretty good footballer and a runner. Lynch Cooper, very little said about him, but he was he won the store gift off scratch. It has been won off scratch, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And then he was a world sprint champion. When he went to Stall, he walked up there, hitchhiked, and he won the Stall gift. That's a pretty good feat, a pretty good achievement. So we had many people who set the trend. We set up many community health services. The first one, which is from our people from Yorta, went up to Redfern and helped them set up what we call a community health service. You see them everywhere now, wherever you go. Then we set up one in Vars, Victorian Aboriginal Health Service in Fitzroy, and then of course Rumballara. They're three of the biggest community health services in the world. Then everyone stole our model. I said, oh, look, that's a good model, isn't it? And away they went and used it. Was there any, goodwill or, ownership of it? No. But that's where community health services come from. All around, because we started those services because we were getting a good service at Numurkah Hospital. Had a shocking name. When I was born, I was put out on the veranda, fly screen, freezing cold. I was born in April. All the other babies were inside, nice and warm and everything. I suffered from that rheumatic fever. I was put in, later on when I got to about 7 or 8, I was put into, probably 10, I was put into isolation. Right at the back of the Numurkah Hospital. I was in there for 12 months, 14 months I was in there. Lucky enough, most people who've got rheumatic fever are not with us today. But having a good doctor, getting the right treatment, looking after myself. I'm 74 now. Next month I'm 74. So they're the things that we, why we're angry, why we're wild. They're the things that. Now we have many Aboriginal people who want to march. We have many people who are not Aboriginal march with us. We celebrate, we honour Sorry Day, Apology Day. Apology Day is the Kevin Run on February 13th. We have a big function for that all around the state for the apology to the stolen generations and all those people that suffered. And of course Sorry Day, which is a bit of a tragic for those people from Sorry Day. And why is that? Well, Sorry Day is May the 26th. We celebrate that every year. Now it's become the Michael Long walk, and it's removed those poor fellows from being acknowledged. They come out and give a quick welcome and whatever. When we get tickets to go to the MCD, they say, look, here's 20 tickets, But we're right up in the bleachers, we can't get the elders to walk all the way up there. That's, we just run out. I'll be walking around if somebody wants to go. That's, and that's Melbourne, that's an elimination game. And the same thing will happen this year. So we decline the tickets because you can't walk up 20 flights of stairs.
It's disgraceful.
And when you're looking at the game, you're only about that big because you're that high up.
Yeah.
You feel like you're falling.
You can't see anyone.
You feel like you're going to fall out too.
Yeah. So we're on with the truth telling, the treaty. We'll keep us posted on that.